Today, we are breaking down the exact formula being used to convince smart people that the housing market is about to crash. They're using real numbers, real investors' names, and twist it into something never actually said.
That's right, Manly. Take Danielle, for instance. She was ready to buy. 3 years of savings, pre-approved last month. Then one post showed up in her feed. 6,000 likes, a scary chart, and a trusted name attached to it. She called her agent and she said, wait a minute, we may need to slow down here.
Here is what you should actually be scared of. It was not fake. Every fact in that post was technically true. That exactly is what makes this so dangerous. You cannot fact check your way out of something built entirely from real information.
So today, we're handing you 3 questions that expose this formula every single time on any topic for the rest of your life. And yes, we are also going to tell you exactly when this market is going to crash.
Because almost everything you scroll past today is leaning one direction or another, whether you agree with it or not. Once you see that, you can't unsee it.
Okay, Manly, let's get back to talking about Danielle, right? She was ready. 3 years of savings. She was pre-approved last month with me. Then last week, she saw a post, and now she's telling me and her agent, I think I need to slow down. All because 6,000 likes, 200 shares, and it worked exactly the way it was built to work, to induce fear. So let's take that post apart piece by piece right now, because once you see how it was built, you will never fall for that type of post again.
Yeah, Anthony, here we go. Step 1. Find something true, not fake. True. Here is the real one from that post. A loss figure on multifamily loans jumped from $61 million to $243 million in a single year. That's a real number. All right, step 2. Remove the number that gives it scale. What they did not show you is that figure sits inside a loan book worth over $500 billion. So, $243 million against $500 billion? Is that just a rounding error? Because it is. It's not even a warning sign. Same move with the second number in that post. $221 million in loans by one lender had to buy back after fraud was found. Sounds like a scandal. It actually is the opposite. That is the system catching the problem and making the lender eat the losses instead of the taxpayer.
That's right. It's basically context, right? They're taking these numbers, they're inflating them, making them feel fearful, when if you look at the context, it's like, yeah, this is nothing burgers, and they're just have an agenda behind them, which gets us to step 3, right? Attach a name people trust, whether or not that actual name said what they're implying. So it's giving it automatic validity, even though if you dig deep, they probably don't even know their name's attached to it. Step 4, end on the scariest possible sentence and let the algorithm do the rest. You end it with fear.
Yeah, I mean, the algorithm's the key here. Let it do its thing. That is the formula. It's not an accident, and it's not one bad account. This exact structure is running across finance content, health content, politics, all of it right now at scale. Nothing is fabricated. That's what makes it so dangerous. You cannot fact check your way out of this post, where every individual fact checks out. The lie lives in the order, not the words.
That's right. It's all about the context. Real facts arranged in the darkest possible order, that's still manipulation. We have a name for that trick in the marketing world. It's called yelling fire in a crowded theater. And it works because fear moves faster than fact-checking.
So here is what we're actually going to walk away with today. Not just what happened to Danielle. The 3 questions that expose the formula every single time on any topic for the rest of your life. And yes, we will also tell you when this market is exactly going to crash.
Like quitting. That's what I'm doing. Sure, it's the coward's way out, but this coward's gonna survive.
Let's talk about why this works, even on smart people. Danielle, she has a financial plan. She has a spreadsheet. She has run the numbers on what she can comfortably afford more than once. None of that mattered once that post hit her feed because it wasn't designed to be debated logically. It was designed to bypass logic completely and go straight to fear. Because fear, it's a powerful emotion, and it can make smart people question good decisions in a matter of seconds.
That's right. They take logic and they take facts and they twist it into a context that is for their agenda. And here's the part that should end this particular argument outright. The investor whose photo was attached to that same post, they weren't short on the trade. He said publicly in his own writing that he personally owns a significant position in the common stock of both companies. So he's not betting they're going to fail. He's betting the exact opposite, that they're eventually going to be released from government control and become more valuable. So think about that for a second. Someone borrowed his credibility to sell a conclusion that doesn't even match where he's putting his own money, aka taking facts, rearranging them, and doing a context that's based off of an agenda.
Here we go, Anthony. Walk through what actually happened. Real filings, real numbers, real facts. Then someone stripped away the context and gave those numbers meaning. They removed the scale. They pointed you towards a conclusion that wasn't actually there. Then they packaged it for clicks and let the algorithm do the rest. Danielle didn't fall for bad information. She fell for good information missing one sentence of context. And honestly, that's the real crisis sitting in your feed right now today. Not Fannie Mae, not Freddie Mac, not the housing market. The crisis is where we're all being handed pieces of the puzzle without anyone showing us a picture of the box.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, just look at social media and how it's working today. Social media, they figured something out a long time ago. They understand that fear gets more clicks than spreadsheets and facts aligned in the correct manner.
Which is unfortunate because spreadsheets are usually a whole lot more accurate.
Yeah, and spreadsheets, they're not fun. They're not viral. They're kind of basic and vanilla. And we live in a rocky road world. So here's what we're going to leave you with. 3 questions. 3 simple questions you can ask yourself before you let any headline, any chart, or any viral post make a financial decision for you. Because once you learn these, you won't just see through this post. You'll start seeing the formula everywhere.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Okay, Manly, so here are the 3 questions, and we are keeping these dead simple because you should be able to repeat them without thinking twice. So let's get to it. Question 1. Is there context behind this fact? Or is it just a number standing alone with nothing to compare it to? A fact with no comparison is not a fact you can trust yet. It's just a number waiting for you to be scared of it.
Yeah. All right. Question 2. What picture are they actually trying to paint? Once you know the picture, ask the same thing, whether you agree with that picture or not. What facts are actually behind this? Not the number by itself, the full picture around the number. If you can't find the context, the picture is doing the work the facts should be doing.
100%, which leads us to question 3, and this is the one that really matters most. Is this leaning one direction, whether or not that direction happens to match what I already believe? Real, raw, primary information does not lean, even your way. It just states what happened. It states the facts. The second a post shows you which way it wants you to feel, it has shown its true colors. That is not truth anymore. That is someone else's opinion wearing truth's clothing. And here is the secret. Once you start looking for this, almost everything you scroll past today leans one way or another, whether it agrees with you or fights with you. Either way, it is just the same tell. The context has been twisted to serve an agenda, even when every fact inside it is real and truth.
Here's the context behind the fact. What picture are they actually painting? And what facts actually support it? Is this leaning one way even if that way is the direction I already wanted to go? 3 questions. Ask them before anything on your phone gets you to make a decision for you.
Now, here's the answer we promised you. When is the market going to crash? Nobody legitimate can tell you that. Not the investor in the photo, not us, not anyone selling you a newsletter. Anyone claiming a date is guessing and dressing up that guess as certainty. That is the honest answer, and it also is the least important part of this conversation right now.
Because here is what Danielle actually needed to hear before she called her agent. Homeownership was never about timing a top. It was never really about the kitchen or the backyard or the rate on the note either. Those are the things people point to because they're easy to photograph. What homeownership actually gives you is a place to put something you already had inside you the whole time. The feeling of freedom, of financial independence, of finally standing on solid ground. The house does not create that feeling. It gives you somewhere to plant it.
So here's the good news. Danielle, she's buying. Not because we told her to, not because the interest rates, but because she finally saw what was actually being sold to her, and it was not a warning. It was fear dressed up as research, and she almost became a statistic and became a forever renter. But because she was informed, she will now be a proud homeowner.
You don't even like this house. You never liked it.
I love this house!
You've done nothing but complain about it since we got here.
All right, before we wrap it up, let's do exactly what we've been talking about this entire episode. Let's leave the opinions behind and look at the actual numbers, because the numbers, with the proper context, tell a story. Anthony, what are we looking at this week?
Absolutely, Manly. Let's dive into it. So the 5.5 coupon, one of the mortgage-backed securities that helps influence mortgage pricing, is sitting at 99.28, up 16 ticks from last week. The 10-year Treasury, it's at 97.78, up 22 ticks. Those are both positive moves. When bond pricing moves higher, mortgage rates generally have room to improve. Now to the number everyone actually cares about at the kitchen table, the average 30-year fixed mortgage. Currently, it's sitting at 6.8%. That's only 0.01% higher than last week. In other words, after all the headlines, after all the noise, mortgage rates barely moved.
And that's exactly why context matters. If I simply told you rates went up, that sounds bad, right? If I told you they went up 0.01%, it suddenly doesn't feel nearly as dramatic. Same fact, completely different perspective. That's why we always tell you, let the math tell the story, not the headline, not the social media post, not somebody trying to get your attention. The math, because the math doesn't care about clicks. It only cares about being right.
And that's exactly what we're going to keep bringing you every single week with this show. The facts, the context, and the numbers that actually matter.
Your future is whatever you make it. So make it a good one.
So let's answer the question one last time. When is the housing market going to crash? The honest answer, nobody knows. Not us, not the investor whose picture we talked about, not anyone selling you a newsletter or promising they figured it out. Anyone giving you a specific date is selling certainty, where certainty simply doesn't exist.
That's right. And here's your assignment. Find the post on your feed you already believe is true. Paste it into an AI, chatbot, or whatever you like to get information, and ask it one question. Is this true? And show me the primary source information. Be ready to have your mind blown, because almost everything you scroll past today in social media is trying to lead you somewhere, whether it agrees or not with what you believe.
We're Anthony and Manley. This is the Mortgage 101 podcast.
Be sure to share this with the one person on the sidelines because of a post like this one we broke down today. Show them the 3 questions. That is how we fix this, one feed at a time.
We'll see you guys next week.
Girl from the heart of Wisconsin to the waves of Hawaii. Man, breaking down rates and the truth you need to know with a little soul and a little homegrown flow. It's the Mortgage 101 podcast where real talk meets home at last. Manly's got that Midwest soul. Anthony brings that island roll when the market swings and you don't know